As you join us, calmer scenes here outside the Ramallah Cultural Palace. But just an hour ago and throughout the hour that ensued, there were mobs, many thousands of people here to welcome back the 32 Palestinian prisoners who were brought here to the capital of the West Bank, part of the 183 who have been freed as part of this latest hostages for prisoners exchange. We saw prisoners who've been incarcerated for something like 20 years, who were basically carried on the shoulders of the crowd down the hill with chants of Allah Akbar, great celebrations. One has to view this, of course, from both sides of a very complicated equation here in the Middle East, because the people in hostage square might be looking upon this as some kind of travesty that prisoners have been released. But here there was a sense of families being reunited, justice in some cases being done. There were, of course, some fairly heavily sentenced prisoners who were released today. I can think of 3 in question responsible for multiple deaths. They will be expelled to third-party countries as part of the agreement. But many people will be released who perhaps have been behind bars since October the 7th, 2023, when they were arrested as part of Israel's swoop to try to, as they put it, put more security on the situation. And these people may have been behind bars with no legal recourse, waiting to find out precisely what actually they've done. For instance, we've reported already about journalists being put behind bars because they were being basically journalists. So there's an element of injustice and arbitrary nature about the justice that's been handed out. Today, for many people, justice being done, people being freed, and there's been scenes of celebration and tears of happiness as well here in Ramallah.
Yeah, a lot of jubilant scenes there earlier in Ramallah. Mark, you mentioned that number, 183. How did we arrive at that figure?
The usual equation is 1 civilian equals 30 prisoners. So today that should have been 90. If you'd use that calculation. You don't need to be a genius in maths, and I'm certainly not one of those. But what we've got is 183. That's a doubling of the process. This has been done in some kind of concession in order to try to keep faith between the two sides. We've not had an official statement to explain precisely why that has happened, but nonetheless, that is where we are. So we were at Offa Prison earlier to see the process of the prisoners being released. At that point, this leaflet was dropped down on people via a drone, which triggered panic, people thinking we were being attacked in some way, shape or form. It was merely a message here, and this is from the Israeli army. It says, we're watching you, we know who you are, and if you're in a terror organization, we will put you in prison. A clear threat. The soldiers then came and told us to move from the hillside where we were watching, and at one point when we were trying to get away from there, they threw some tear gas at us. So getting to this point, completely different type of mood, a celebration in many ways, and certainly an amount of resolution about what happens next. There is, of course, the ongoing Israeli operation, the military operation across the West Bank, trying to clear out, as they put it, terrorists in places like Jenin and Tulkarem. That is ongoing and will continue to carry on. So the state of tension continues, and what that means for the peace process going forward, what that means for the ceasefire going forward, of course, is that it's a very delicate situation and remains so.